Hello there, this is Team VMCG and I'm their team coordinator, Victoria.
I'm Nathan Witherell.
I'm Akeem Mohammed.
I'm George Shoko.
My name is Shakorian Porter.
My task for this assignment was to record video, edit it, and upload it to YouTube channel.
My task was to answer half of the questions.
My job was to answer the other half of the questions, as well as communicate with our team to receive the results, and as well as communicate with Nathan to do the questions.
My job for this was to work with the Pi and get all the programming done and whatnot, get it all set up, and also to work on the GitHub so everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. And on top of that, making sure I communicate with Corey about the Pi stuff.
My task for the assignment was to analyze and try to explain the observations that we had to do throughout the assignment and communicate with George on whatever we needed was important for the observations.
Two things that I learned from this assignment is definitely how to create a schedule of meetings that it didn't conflict with any one time, and how properly to assign tasks for each member, considering their weakness and strength.
Two things I learned from this assignment was I learned a lot more about the architecture of the Raspberry Pi and how to work better on my writing.
Two things that I learned is to communicate with other members of our group, like Corey and George, to understand their part of the project, to understand what they're doing, so I'm informed as well as architecture, as Nathan said on the report, on the questions, understanding Raspberry Pi.
Two things I learned was, again, like communication, because it's one of those things which is key since I'm doing the Pi and then I have Corey kind of build off of what I'm doing with the report. I have to make sure that he knows what I'm doing and I understand what I'm doing so that way I can explain it. Then on top of that, it's more of, again, using the Pi and actually learning a little bit of C programming because there's a little bit of that we use in there. So making sure I know how that works is also very crucial.
Yeah, what I've learned was the structure of the Raspberry Pi, and I also learned a little bit of C code, and I got more comfortable with it because, I've known a little bit of C code before, but now I'm kind of like, okay, I'm understanding what's going on.
The things that I learned from this assignment I'm definitely going to use in my future job. It will help me become a better team coordinator. Also, it will help me improve the performance of my team.
Something I learned from this project was to learn how to use outside resources in order to functionally understand what I'm working on.
Some things that would help me is communicating with our team, with Victoria, getting together, using the outside source that we had, creating the project, understanding the hardware that the Raspberry Pi uses, and that's it.
One thing I learned that will be very useful in the future is that in order to get things done, especially when you have two people building off the same section, because I didn't realize it because Nathan and Kim were doing it a lot, and now I'm working with Corey, you have to make sure that you both know what's going on. Otherwise, things can get very loose-ended and very jumbled up. So making sure that you both know what's going on your part of the project is very crucial.
One thing I've learned is to definitely do research and understanding what you're doing in your project and understanding what the project is, because that can really help the efficiency of what you're doing in the workplace.
The worst part of this project was for me that I am the team coordinator. Yes, maybe this sounds funny, but I feel myself a lot of pressure. It's a big responsibility because I have to check that each member do his or her job properly and in time. And if at the end something appears wrong, I'm be responsible for this.
I think the hardest part of the assignment was understanding the application towards the Raspberry Pi. A lot of things that I answered was based on functional questions rather than application.
The hardest part for me was using my outside resources to answer the questions, where I really usually don't use outside resources, to gather results and answers. That's the hardest part for me.
For me, I didn't really have a hardest part because everything was pretty much straightforward. So I feel like it's just more of one. I just have the best part, which is the fact that working with the pie is always nice. It's just something simple, something new, and coding with C is always helpful in the future.
One thing that I did struggle with was managing my time so that I can get things done in a timely fashion, and also when there's certain codes that may be a little bit unfamiliar, you don't know what you have to do some tests and run it over and see, okay, this is what's going on, and trying to break down what's going on and understand it.
Okay, I think that's all. Bye.
Bye.